Meanwhile, dozens of trucks carrying humanitarian aid have arrived at the Rafah border crossing, ready to enter Gaza. The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is there also, ready to help with the transfer of much-needed essentials to the Palestinian enclave. Let's cross now to Cairo and speak to the former advisor to the Egyptian Foreign Minister, Hussein Haridhi. Hussein, welcome. Can you tell us more about the deal by which Egypt will allow aid into Gaza?
Well, the question is not Egypt, madam, when it comes to the Rafah crossing. The question is the United States and Israel. From the outset, Egypt has pointed out that the Egyptian side of the crossing is open, and Egypt has no objections to letting the foreign nationals trapped in Gaza to cross into Egyptian territory, provided that the Rafah crossing, would also be used to introduce humanitarian assistance into Gaza to help the Palestinians cope with the siege that Israel has imposed on the Gaza Strip. So we are ready whenever the Americans and the Israelis are ready to open the other side of the crossing. And as I understand it, the American Special Representative to Humanitarian Assistance, Ambassador David Satterfield, is trying to work out details in his contacts with both the Israelis and with the Egyptian Foreign Ministry. Having said that, we are working on repairing the damage to the roads on the other side of the crossing, caused by Israeli bombardment. Last week, Israel bombarded the Palestinian side of the Rafah crossing 4 times, madam. So, and as the Secretary General of the United Nations said today in front of the Egyptian side of the Rafah crossing, he said that introducing the humanitarian assistance as quickly as possible into Gaza is a matter of life and death. And we in Egypt, we completely subscribe to this point of view. But the other side, the Israelis, are putting conditions on the introduction of humanitarian assistance in order to starve the Palestinians and bring them into complete submission and surrender to the Israeli will.
Now, as you mentioned, Israel has been targeting the Rafah crossing. Do you think that this time they'll allow this through? And what would they want in exchange, perhaps, in allowing this?
Well, you know, on our side, we have more than 100 trucks carrying around more than 800,000 tons of food, water, and medicine to the Palestinians in Gaza. What the Americans reach with the Israelis is that only 20 trucks would enter the Gaza Strip. And as the United Nations senior officials said in the last 24 hours, at least we need 100 trucks at least to enter Gaza every day in order to provide with the growing needs of the Palestinians, 2.5 million Palestinians trapped in Gaza.
Now, why do you think Egypt is preventing Palestinians from crossing into the territory?
I'm not sure that I would use preventing. We not only Egypt, but Egypt and Jordan are fully aware of the Israeli plans of displacing hundreds of thousands of Palestinians from the West Bank to Jordan and from Gaza to Sinai in order to thwart indefinitely the establishment of an independent Palestinian state. That's one point. The other one, madam, supposing that 2.5 million Palestinians would come and settle into Sinai, there is no way that will prevent them or prevent part of them to wage a holy war on Israel from Sinai. And that would be a very dangerous tipping point. That would solicit an Israeli military reaction in some that Israel would attack Egyptian territory. So that would of course, that would impel Egypt to defend its sovereignty and its territorial integrity. Anyhow, let's hope that the efforts by the United Nations Secretary General would succeed, and humanitarian assistance would start rolling into Gaza unconditionally and sustainably. The Egyptian president yesterday that it's very important that humanitarian assistance has access in a sustainable way into Gaza without any conditions attached to the passage of this assistance.
A precarious situation indeed. Hussein Haredi, former advisor to the Egyptian foreign minister. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.